What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Outside Line Media. And we finally have IMSA back. Ryan, is everything right in your world now?
War is over. War is over. We are back. Big BoP changes going into Detroit. Manual BoP changes. To maybe hope stop the Penske train. We will get into that. But yeah, we're going to the streets of Detroit.
Doubleheader with IndyCar this weekend.
Doubleheader with IndyCar. Hour 40 race. I think. Yeah, 100 minutes. Hour 40. Should be good. It's GTD Pro and GTP only this weekend. I'm thrilled. I mean, you know me. IMSA is back. Let's just real quick talk about. Well, no, I guess not real quick. This is a long conversation. Let's get into this BoP. Let's get into these BoP changes. We got some graphs for you today.
Yeah.
Courtesy of me figuring out how Excel charts work because I don't work in an office, so I have no clue what I'm doing. But I figured it out. We've made some charts. And Patrick so kindly will insert them on screen when we are talking about them. But
brother didn't leave them in the spreadsheet. I'll have to look at the raw numbers. I'll also look at the raw numbers. It's fine. So shout out IMSA for making all of your technical documents open to the public, so that we were able to,
it's beautiful.
So that we were able to actually do comparisons between the Long Beach BoP and the Detroit BoP and make these graphs for you guys. None of the articles we could find online really went as in depth as we wanted to. They kind of just gave, yeah, here's how it affects BMW and Penske, and that was really it.
Yeah, so the three things we're going to be looking at are the changes to the minimum kilograms, the V1 speed, and the max energy. Those are the three things to care about. V2 speed was adjusted, but that's the top end. Where at Detroit, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And the changes were also minuscule. But these are the three things that we think you'll see. This will affect the cars in this race.
Yeah, I think with the minimum weight, the biggest difference we see is with Cadillac and Acura. Cadillac dropped 26 kilograms and Acura dropped 30 kilograms. That should really help them on their tire wear, especially, to be able to push those stints a little bit longer. And then, of course, it'll help with raw speed. But I think the tire wear is really where that weight adjustment is going to come into play with these teams, especially around the streets of Detroit.
Yeah, and in the same vein, Aston Martin loses some weight, a minuscule amount in comparison. They lose 8. But the big losers, as we've kind of prefaced by saying, the Penske nerf essentially is what this is. This is the Penske nerf. It's the Porsche nerf. They nerf these motherfuckers, okay? Cadillac, obviously gained. BMW and Porsche are the big losers. Porsche gained 11 pounds, kilograms, not freedom units.
Even worse, I mean, that's like 30 pounds, I think.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like a lot, pounds. But in a race car, that's a lot. It really does affect the balance.
Not only the balance, I feel like, but the trying to figure out how to lose like a couple ounces. A couple of grams. I mean, a kilogram is a lot in racing terms, and 11 kilograms is a huge number for BMW.
BMW had 8, Porsche had 11, so that's the gains there. But both of them significant amounts for tire wear. We'll be very curious to see how that plays out on the
I didn't look up how they gain those kilograms, that the teams are allowed to place the ballasts where they want. I would think they can place the ballasts wherever they want, but
yeah. I'm not sure.
So it does give them a little bit more opportunity to kind of balance that out to where it's not as big of a change as it could be. Because they can make it a very central, low weight so that it helps the stability of the car, if anything.
Yeah, so it could end up just being the car's planted when the tire was a hair more.
Yeah.
But you'll never know, obviously, till the race, and they could get it wrong with where they put the ballast. So that's another thing that they could mess up.
Definitely.
But rolling right along, V1 power, which is basically low end, if I understand it, low end speed, low end torque.
Yeah.
You're getting up to speed.
It's how the whole like torque sensor and everything sees speed and what that max torque can be applied to the
Yeah.
engine.
I definitely recommend looking at the charts if you're a bit of a nerd like myself. Both of us, me and Patrick,
Yeah, we'll have
were
the
having a
technical
lot of
BoP
fun.
documents linked down below.
Having a lot of fun looking over that document and all the stuff they have. It's very cool. Goes way more in depth, obviously, than we're going, but we're giving it we're putting it up and showing you what matters for race fans. But V1 power, once again, Acura, huge winner, a 28 increase in V1 power. That's a lot. That is a lot. Aston Martin and Cadillac just behind them. 14 for Aston Martin, 12 for Cadillac. Big gains all around. Acura really the winner today.
Yeah,
In that aspect.
yeah, I think Acura definitely that big winner across the board. Um, there's only one category that they were lower in, and they were still the second lowest. Um, Aston Martin also kind of getting a little bit of that power advantage. I wonder if that has to do with them being with that naturally aspirated car, maybe not being calculated correctly right from the beginning.
Yeah,
But
might
it's
have
not a
taken a little
huge
bit.
adjustment for them. Biggest loser here is definitely BMW. They've
Yeah,
gotten pole in every single event so far. So obviously that raw speed, that raw power over one pace, that's what over one lap, that's what IMSA's trying to correct here.
yeah. So trying to bring speed back, reel in the horsepower. Well, horsepower. It basically
Yeah.
reel it in, bring it all back. Porsche also a loser, but not as bad, losing 16 to BMW's 22.
And
Both losing amounts.
this is Newton kilograms
Yeah,
in terms of power.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not actually, yeah, it's some unit. Yeah,
It's a unit of it's the unit of power that IMSA uses to calculate their power settings,
yeah.
which I
So that,
believe is Newton kilograms.
yeah. So big losers there. Obviously, we'll see that effects. But last thing we're looking at is max energy, and only person to gain maximum energy was Aston Martin, gaining 6.
Again, I'm
Other
thinking
than that,
that's a miscalculation from
yep, that's
them
what I
not
was worried
having a
about.
hybrid to help extend that range a little bit.
Yeah, so Acura loses 1, so like nothing. I mean, that actually is a nothing burger, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the teams are usually pitting with less than one to go, so it'll adjust their pit strategy a little bit more. Or it'll
Yeah,
more just adjust their engine mapping to
yeah,
be
they'll figure it out.
a minuscule, smaller amount of power.
Yeah. Porsche, big loser here, loses 20. Um, that's tough.
Yeah, that's really gonna hurt their performance over an entire stint.
Yeah.
Because basically they'll either have to keep the same engine mapping and energy usage that they currently have, and probably pit at least one extra time in most of the longer rounds. Detroit, they'll have to adjust their engine map
Yeah.
because that's going to be a one stopper, I think. Maybe a two stopper.
Yeah, and you don't
But
want
I
to
mean,
be.
that's a plus one stop if they keep the same engine map.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to adjust, and they're gonna lose some speed there. Um, BMW second biggest loser, having running the same problem. They're losing 12, and finally Cadillac loses 5. Um, the 12 is still gonna be significant. We're probably an engine map change for like certain
It'll be
stuff.
a less significant engine map change, but there will definitely still be one.
Yeah, I kind of almost equalizing the V1 power loss, I feel, from BMW and Porsche. BMW loses more power, but they don't lose as much energy. So it might balance out. These guys are
Especially
smart.
because the energy's meant more to balance out that stint dominance that
Yeah.
Penske has over the course of a race.
Yeah. So it's smart. I mean, IMSA knows what they're doing. They're not just doing this to like,
They've poured over all the data
yeah,
from
they
the
they
first few
they want to
rounds.
bring the most intriguing, impelling,
Compelling.
compelling. Thank
That's the
you.
word you're looking for.
Had a long day at work today, fellas. Most compelling racing product, which they consistently have done, and although BoP sounds tough, sounds stupid.
I mean, we saw
It's
how bad WEC did with their adjustments.
yeah, they can mess up, but I'm hoping IMSA gets it right, and it's not just like get screwed, Penske get screwed,
And
BMW or
it's not
something
a
get screwed,
formulaic
Porsche.
change, so I have a little bit more faith in it being a more consistent, because I don't want to see Penske just drop to the back of the field. Nobody wants to
Yeah,
see that.
that's no fun. They need to stay competitive. They just need to have a challenge.
I want to see a nice 5 manufacturer fight for the win.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I think IMSA wants, and that's what I think their goal
And
to
I think if these manual BoP adjustments work out well, with how much Toyota's getting screwed over in WEC right now by that BoP adjustment that the FIA just did over there, I think we could maybe see this is a little bit of a move from IMSA to kind of flirt with some of those manufacturers that are over in WEC right now, especially Toyota. I think that's kind of obviously they're going to target McLaren and Ford. I think Ford's all but confirmed as being in IMSA probably a year after their Le Mans debut in terms of the hypercar class. McLaren is less so, but they could just run it out of the Era McLaren IndyCar area and kind of roll that team in. So I could see them maybe having an IMSA program, but I
I
think
don't know.
it's
McLaren, I'm not really on that because of the talks of them leaving series. I mean, you know, what I mean,
yeah, but
leaving.
there are differences in regs between GTP and LMH, but I think it would do both sports well if IMSA and WEC coordinate what the GTP and the LMH specs are for the next generation of cars.
Because then you have cars from both series that can then come over and run the other races.
It's like when we had the LMH and the LMDH. It was very minor adjustments, usually having to do with like engine mapping and stuff like that, to where cars could come over and run, especially an event like the 24 Hours of Daytona, without having to worry about preparing a whole separate car.
Yeah, definitely a good.
But I could kind of see this manual BoP be a move to maybe flirt with some other manufacturers to bring them in, and of course to keep the current manufacturers in IMSA happy.
Yeah, it's a juggling game because you got to think some manufacturer. Every time you make a BoP adjustment, there's going to be pissed off people and there's going to be happy people, even if you did it perfect, because people that were dominating are going to be pissed that they're not dominating anymore.
Yeah, Roger's not going to be happy. Roger had a bad week.
Rogers had a horrible week. They had a horrible NASCAR, horrible IndyCar, and they're getting massively nerfed in IMSA. So hopefully Detroit's not a complete wash for the man, because he'll probably be there with IndyCar and IMSA running. So,
well, I mean, he'll have to be there with IndyCar running.
Oh yeah, well, duh.
He kind of owns the series, brother.
I'm only slightly an idiot. Okay?
He's not going to be on the pit stand, but he'll be there. Look, Roger, you don't own this series, so you can't have BoP that favors your team.
Oh, good lord. He's going to buy IMSA to change the BoP on Penske.
Take it back! Take it back!
But let's roll into our predictions for Detroit.
Yeah, obviously nothing to recap. Our last IMSA video was from the Laguna Seca round, where they behaved very well. So you can check that video out on our channel. It's about 2 weeks old at this point, I think. Yeah, let's rock into our Detroit predictions. Again, GTP and GTD Pro running.
Yes. So start with GTP. Who do you got winning the GTP this week?
You know, I had a different winner. I forget who I had. I think I might have had one of the BMWs actually winning. But then I looked at the BoP adjustments. I've got the 93 Acura winning with MSR.
I don't hate that, because
and I mean you've got that's regular Van de Zand's car, right?
Yeah,
if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah,
and Nick Yelloy.
Yeah,
sorry, pronouncing your name wrong. Yelloy,
something like that. Sorry, Nick. But that's a great driver combination. We've seen them have some really good speed and just some really bad luck this year. So I think with the BoP adjustments, we're going to see something good out of them this weekend.
I like it. Patrick, I think you're going to like my winner. I got the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac winning the race this weekend. I think Cadillac's going to come out the winner of this. Sneakily getting the second most power, or the second most decrease in weight, the third most
And they've
fuel
arguably
power,
looked more competitive this year.
and only a slight energy nerf. So I think they're going
Which
to get it together. Hour 40
who's
race.
driving the number 10 again?
It's Ricky Taylor and Felipe. So should be good. That is
Felipe
my
Albuquerque. I just got really confused and thought you meant Felipe Nasser for a second.
No, Albuquerque. Yeah. I just the name. I want to make sure I didn't pronounce it wrong, so I was just like, sure, I'll just say Felipe. Close enough.
Yeah, it's not Albuquerque. I made that mistake, I think, on probably like the first video we did.
Yeah, I didn't want to say Felipe Albuquerque, so I was like, I'm just not going to say it. I'm just going to say Felipe.
Up. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up the entry list. Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't hate that. My heart's just been broken by Cadillac way too many times this season.
I'm feeling like having some pain, so we're just gonna roll with it. You know,
well, Ferrari hasn't been enough for you lately.
Yeah, it hasn't been hitting the same. Who's your hit the apex, Pat?
Again, I've got the number 60 Acura Meyershank. I think Meyershank's gonna have a really solid weekend this weekend. That's Tom Blomqvist and Colin Braun's car, so Blomqvist and Braun. Banger driver lineup.
Yeah.
And if you're an IndyCar fan coming from our IndyCar content, don't let Scott Blomqvist, Scott Blomqvist was a dirt driver. Don't let Tom Blomqvist's IndyCar career dictate your opinion of that driver. Dude is a god in sports cars. He just sucked in IndyCar.
Yes. All right, my hit the apex. I'm continuing the delusion. I got the number 40 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac hitting the apex this week. Jordan Taylor.
Louis Delatraz.
Come on now. What's happened today?
You don't have faith in Jack Aitken with the Wayland Cadillac?
No, I had a feeling about that 40. I don't know what it is, but I had a feeling.
I do wish that, as much as I love the lineup that Wayne Taylor has right now, I'd love to see Jack Aitken in one of those cars too, because I rate him super highly. Can you imagine one of the Taylors with Jack Aitken as his team driver?
That would be insane. That would be ridiculous.
Who's your Miss the Apex this week?
I'm flipping sides. I'm changing the narrative. Number 24 BMW.
Whoa.
I decided with my predictions, think like Patrick, because Patrick's whooping my fucking ass in predictions.
So look, we're like 5-3 right now. Neither of us is doing great.
But I just had to switch it up, and I've been leaning on the BMWs hard, and I think they're going to come out negatively from these BoP changes. And I think Penske will too, which is why you've seen I haven't had anything about Penske in here because I just don't. I'm off the teams getting nerfed. I'm a hard off. What about you?
I got Porsche Penske missing the apex this week.
Yeah, same vein, I assume.
Yeah.
Not a bad bet.
And I mean, are we going to see Tim Cindric on one of those stands?
Very well could.
And yeah, how do you think that BoP adjustment's going to affect the Penskes?
It needs to be a lot. I didn't quantify it, but a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking at least both cars off the podium this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I think, like a 3 to 5th area.
Yeah, I think that would be a good weekend for them getting in the top 5. More realistically, I think we're going to see them solid midfield somewhere in like the P4 to P8 range.
Yeah, be very curious to see, but that I tend to agree with you there. Which ones are GTD Pro predictions?
GTD Pro also had some more BoP adjustments. They were less severe than the GTP, especially because while the championship has been dominant, it really hasn't been dominated on pace. It's just Lauren Heinrich and Backler being inevitable.
Yeah. Like the pace has been pretty equal, but we'll pop up some stuff and we'll link below the data on it if you're curious about the exact thing. But the significant thing we want to talk about today was GTP ones. But we will link you and show you the GTD ones. So look for that. But on that vein, who do you got winning?
We're going back to old reliable. I got the number 77 AO Racing Porsche, also known as Rexy.
I also got Rexy winning this weekend.
Yeah. I mean,
is it not? Wait, is it Roxy? I thought it was Roxy this weekend.
Is it Roxy this weekend? It was Roxy last weekend. I don't think they'd rock her out 2 weekends in a row. Maybe unless there's another series that they're running. Unless they already have Rexy on the way over for Le Mans.
Maybe. I could be wrong. I'm just gonna not. I'm just gonna not know. But I got Rexy's. I also have Rexy's. That's Roxy winning. So
yeah. Klaus Bachler, Lauren Heinrich.
Yeah, I can't doubt. Who you got hitting the Apex?
My hit the Apex this week is. Oh, that's not the right one. Number 81, the Ferrari Dragon Speed.
Okay.
They had a decent weekend, more than decent weekend in Laguna Seca, and they've had a quietly pretty good but pretty anonymous championship so far.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I like that pick. Me personally, it's Detroit. There's some long straightaways. There's no corners. Number 64 Ford Multimatic Mustang.
Yeah, but they're hard corners, man.
It's okay.
It's a lot of braking for that boat to do.
It's okay. The boat will make. Also, I would like to say in the technical documents for, I think it's talking about the GTD changes. I did not know this. Ford Multimatic has an exception to the height specifications to their cars. So I'm assuming they're over height because they're fat ass fucking wing, and it's allowed. It's a provision to have all them freedom behind that car. Have all that freedom, that wing, because they know they need the wing. They needed the downforce to help them. So they said, "All right, you can get the biggest wing you've ever seen in your life put on your car." So just something funny there. But who's your miss?
I've got the Pratt Miller Corvette, the number 3.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of vibes. I mean, it's Antonio Garcia and Alexander Sims. They aren't bad drivers, but
it's not Tommy Milner.
Yeah, but Tommy Milner's not even running with Robert Wickens this weekend because it's GTD Pro.
Yeah, he's running.
And for some reason, Robert's lost his pro license, I guess. But
yeah, Nicky Catsburg. Well, you can be a non-pro driver. There's non-pro drivers driving. There's gold drivers.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So.
Oh, and there's silver drivers too.
Yeah.
Pastor Sullivan 15. Both of them are silver.
I think it's a maximum, not a minimum.
Yeah. I don't know. Sure. Maybe Robert didn't feel like running this weekend. Who knows?
It's fair. Yeah, who knows? You never know. But I got Faf missing the Apex. Number 9 Faf.
Oh, you're a bitch.
Yeah, just betting against Faf. That's all I gotta say.
That sounds normal for you.
Yep.
Who's your biggest Faf and then them just absolutely dominating. I think that's what happened last time.
Little do you know I'm a closeted Faf fan, so I'm hoping they do well. That's why I'm rooting against them.
I've actually got biggest mover is one that we're introducing this week. It can be forward or backward. It can be pole position to 10th or 10th to pole position.
Backwards?
Yeah.
I did not know that. It doesn't change my answer, but
I've got the number 9 Faf Lamborghini.
Well, this could help both of us.
If both of us could have a good prediction here.
Yeah. I also have one that could benefit alongside something you said. I got the number 81 Dragon Speed.
There we go. They pull a Charlotte Leclerc fucking in the wall in qualifying and make it all the way up to the front.
Yeah. Stray for no reason there, but okay. For no reason you had to bring up Charlotte there. But I agree. The same sentiment you were along with.
Speaking of Ferrari.
They've been good. They've had a quiet. Okay. Don't make the connection.
And he likes to fucking into the wall.
I understand that part very well, actually. Yeah, I just think they're going to be good. They've had a quiet, sneaky championship. But, yeah, I'm really excited for this race. Probably got to watch the race replay. I'm in a wedding on Saturday. Or not in a wedding, sorry. I'm going to a wedding on Saturday. This race is Sunday. Oh, I can watch this race.
Oh, is it
Wait,
like
is it?
right before the IndyCar race?
No, wait,
Or
no, it's
after?
Saturday. It's definitely Saturday. It's definitely Saturday.
Yeah, May
But
30th through 31st. That's Friday and Saturday.
yeah, so this race is at, I'm gonna look up the time because I'm now curious.
I will not be watching qualifying, unfortunately, because I will be at a dirt race.
Oh yeah,
Friday.
exciting. I don't know if I just missed it. I
Shooting
can't
the
find it
drivers, shooting the cars, shooting the crowd.
with a camera.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's 3:40 p.m. So I definitely be watching race replay of this.
Yeah. It's a classic. Hey, I'm just doing the classic photographer mantra. Shoot the
Yes.
kids, hang the family, frame the life.
There you go. There you go. Photography, but we'll both watch this race. We're gonna be really excited.
I'll
Hope
be
you guys
watching it
enjoy.
live because I'm not a bum.
Yeah, sorry.
Imagine having to go to a wedding.
I know, unbelievable of me. But yeah, that's
Oh,
all
is
for
this
this
the
week.
one where you're the +1?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, have a great week, everybody. Comment who you think's gonna win the IMSA race.
We got 4 things racing this weekend.
Thank the person who made the charts, not the person who inserted them in the video, because I clicked 3 buttons. Patrick's
Oh,
clicking
I'm
6.
sorry. Thank
Right.
the person who put all the raw data into the sheet to be able to make the charts.
I did the hard work. I highlighted, hit insert, and hit chart. Okay? I did the hard work. All right.
Because IMSA, for some reason, doesn't do copyable tables in their PDFs.
That's the one thing. But I will say, if you ever want any information about IMSA, type exactly what you want, and a PDF will probably pop up. Like entry list, PDF.
That's exactly what I did. I just searched IMSA BoP.
We can schedule. You can figure out when the hauler's got to get there. I mean, you can get everything.
You can find drivers' meeting times, everything.
Yeah, all of it. So yeah, enjoy everybody. Have a good week. We'll talk to you sometime soon.
Yeah. See you guys.
Peace.